Hey guys, today I'm going to attempt for the second time to remove my EGR valve from my 2008 Grand Cherokee. I had a pending P0402, I think it's excessive flow fault. So I've had a look at this already. I believe we're going to need to pull out this EGR valve right here. We'll need to pull out this bolt here. There's another bolt on the back side. I don't know if I can show you that, but we'll try. That one there, I believe. Unplug both these connectors. I think you're going to go like that. Push those out of the way. And the hardest part of this whole job, this is why this is my second attempt, is trying to separate the EGR valve from the manifold. You can see the gap I've got here, and that's because I've been driving it with the two bolts loosened, maybe leaving maybe 1/8 of an inch gap. So I just noticed when I popped the hood after a few days of driving, looks like it's popped out a bit. So hopefully that's enough to pry it out. There's also two coolant lines, one and another that you can't see, which I'll have to pull off as well. So the two bolts that hold the EGR in, I'm using an E10, I think it's called inverted Torx. Looks like that. And a little universal joint, 3/8 drive, and that seems to allow me to get into access to the rear bolt and the front bolt, which is a lot easier. Okay, here's the two bolts that hold it in. As you can see, coolant hoses are still attached. Right here, I'll need to pull those off, but you can see just working with the screwdriver here, I was able to wiggle this up. Now, that was impossible without running it. I think I put about 500 kilometers on it with the bolts loosened. So I would highly suggest doing that, because otherwise you can see right there where I've damaged it by hitting it with the punch, trying to pivot the valve back and forth. So I figured just leave the bolts loose, drive for a week or two, and keep an eye on it, and eventually it will pop out like that. Okay, so you can see I've got the EGR valve most of the way out. Got the one coolant hose off. The other one is a lot easier to reach now that I've pulled out the valve, and by easy I mean it's easier. I think you can see just the corner of it right there, right in the middle of the screen. So I should be able to just come in the side, get pliers on that, and pop it off. Okay, so I got the EGR valve out. Once I got this rearmost cooling hose off, it actually came out quite easily. There's just enough clearance for it to be removed with the firewall kind of above it. You can see the damage I'd done on my first attempt. I just basically took a punch, and I was able to twist the EGR valve a little bit, but definitely not enough to give myself a gap to pry up with anything. So, like I said, do yourself a favor before you even plan to do this. Loosen these bolts off, maybe about that much, maybe 1/8 of a gap. Drive around like that. I think I put 500 kilometers on it. And sure enough, I looked under the hood today, and it had popped up that amount. So after I got this rear coolant hose out, everything came out quite easy. So with the EGR valve out, I'll have a look in the hole here, see what's going on. You can really see. I don't know what it should look like. There's some soot in there. I'll probably take a vacuum to it and mostly focus on the valve itself. Okay, so I've got it here in a vise. There's the valve. Here's the end that opens up. I've just kind of wire brushed it a little bit, clean it up. It looked pretty good though. It's just very light soot. So I believe you should be able to push on the inside with the screwdriver. And it should move like that. It should move freely. It's hard with one hand because I'm filming with the other, but and when I let go, it'll pop right back in. You can see the valve seat looks fairly clean. I might hold it open and clean it up a little bit better, but I don't think I had any problems going on with this. So now when I let go, it should pop right back in, and it does. So I think I'll hold that out, clean up the seat a little bit, and then throw it back in. Okay, so I ended up just taking steel wool to it, and seemed to work pretty well. And I think that's as clean as we're going to get it. So I will begin to reassemble it now. Okay, I'm going to attempt to install it with just my left hand here. So space, it's not too tight. It slides in like that, I think. I'll leave it out a little bit just so I can get these hoses on here. Okay, so I didn't film it because I struggled for a while, but the rearmost heater hose was difficult. I could get it on, but I couldn't get the clamp over top because I can't get pliers back there. So what I would suggest is with the EGR valve out, put some vice grips. These are the ones I use, about this long. Clamp the, put them on the clamp, pull the clamp back, install the EGR valve, slide the hose on top, slide the hose onto the spout, and then grab the vice grips, which are down there, and put the clamp on and release the vice grips. That's the easiest way. If you try to get pliers in there while the EGR valve's installed, it's very difficult. This one was straightforward. Just do a final snug on these two bolts here. There's one. There's two. Both snug. No more gap there. It's tightened right down. I kind of tried to do them evenly, went back and forth, and finally plugs. That's it.